Hi and welcome. This is Playful and Purposeful Props. My name is Jennifer Bailey. I'm a music educator with 27 years experience in elementary general music, and I'm also the author of Sing to Kids. This is the Reset and Renew with the Music Crew Conference 2023. Let's get started. So, why should we use props? My number one reason for using props in an elementary music room is to engage students, to get students excited and involved in the learning. The second reason I use props is to elicit musical responses from children. So often I have children who are shy, who are scared of what might happen if they sing or chant, and oftentimes giving them a prop puts the focus on the prop and takes it away from the self, and it gets them involved in music, making music, singing, chanting, or moving. Lastly, the reason I use props is to respect children's personal boundaries. If I want to have a child echo and I go up with an echo mic and I put it right in front of their face, that might be too close to them. It may not be comfortable within their personal boundaries. But when a prop comes to a child, they have the opportunity to choose to engage or not engage. They have the choice to have the space around them they want to feel safe to participate in music class. And so respecting boundaries is another wonderful reason to use props. So here I have a picture of just a small sample of some of the props that I use and will be talking about in our session today. It is not meant to be a comprehensive list, and what works for me may not work for you. But I wanted to give you some ideas to start the year off right and get your kids singing, chanting, and moving in music class with purpose and feeling comfortable with who they are as musicians. So here are some of the props that we'll use. The first prop I'm sharing with you today are die-cut shapes. And the reason I share this with you is just about every elementary school has a die-cut machine in their teacher's lounge. They're easily accessible. You can create seasonal props to use with your students. Oftentimes, we think we use paper or construction paper to cut shapes out, but I would encourage you to consider using that flat craft foam that you can get at craft stores. And the reason I share this with you is that construction paper might get you through a class or two, but they'll often curl, rip, tear, or get folded up. The foam does not tear nor rip as easily as construction paper. And so I have these shapes here, my little butterfly, my little bat. We've been using these in my classrooms for upwards of 10 years. I do every once in a while get a student that, will tear something and we throw it away, but for the most part, they stay very nicely. So what's lovely about these die-cut shapes is that you can use them for body awareness, movement activities, and resting tone activities. One of my favorite songs to do in the fall is called Autumn Leaves, it's called The Leaves Fall. That's a separate song. And we start by placing the leaves on different body parts, our head, our shoulder, our elbow, our knees, our foot. And our job is just to move with this continuous fluid movement. We're moving through the beat versus to the beat. As I sing the song, the leaves fall when their work is done. The leaves fall when their work is done. The leaves fall when their work is done. They fall, they fall, they fall. Bum, bum. And that song, The Leaves Fall, I learned at a level 1 elementary general music course for music learning theory years ago. I have tried to attribute that song to someone in that course because I learned it when I was taking my level, and no one has claimed it, which I feel awful about because I would love to attribute it to its author. But right now it's just unknown, and I will share that song in my handout for you. So die-cut shapes are a great way to get your kids moving, get them aware of their body, getting them to sing, resting tone, and more. All right, our next prop are puppets. And if you know me, you know that I may or may not need an intervention regarding my love of puppets and using them in classroom. Puppets are a great way to get students to respond where they may not normally. Because again, the minute I have something like this in my hand, the focus becomes this little puppet. And I forget that I'm going to be asked to sing or chant or move in music class. I love the Folkmanis puppets that you can get on Amazon or off of their website because they just are great quality puppets and they'll last for a very long time. But you don't have to have these kinds of puppets. I've bought puppets at Costco in 4-packs. I've bought puppets at garage sales. I have bought them at thrift stores. You can get your puppets wherever you choose. And sometimes having the less expensive puppets, especially for student use, is nice to have because then you don't worry about them being damaged or anything happening to them. But I want to do a little sound with you with my puppets today, and I actually have two. Let's see if I can get myself in the camera correctly. So there are two little puppets here. I have a polar bear and I have my little brown bear. And this is my polar bear song. It goes like this. Polar bear, where have you been? I've been to the North Pole and back again. Polar bear, what did you see? The northern light shining for you and for me. Now, my two little bears love to sing to one another. And here's the thing, the puppets don't always need to go in the hands of the kids. Sometimes the puppets are the model of how to interact or how to hear sameness and difference. So this is the activity I do with my students, with my little polar bear puppet and my little brown bear puppet. They just sing to each other. Bum, 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 bum. And the kids use their hands to tell me if they're hearing same, or different patterns. And then they hear another pattern. Bum, 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 bum. And again, they're going to tell me, are they hearing same and different? Once my students become familiar with that, then our little bears sing to the students. That doesn't happen in the same class. That's another class. So the next class, kids come back in, we do same and different patterns, and this time the bear sings to them, and they can choose to sing a same pattern or a different pattern. And then as they become more comfortable with that, the puppets do go out to students because, of course, being extra like I am, I do have mama bears that match the baby polar bear and the baby brown bear. So the babies go out to the students and the children get these puppets, and the mama bear, me, sings to the baby bears and they sing back. And again, they can choose to be same or different. And one of the things I love about letting students make that choice is they're telling me where they are and what they're ready to do next. Some students are only ready to sing the pattern back and be same. And maybe they're just working on pitch matching. Maybe they're working on being in their head voice. Some students have that under control and they're ready to try to be different, to improvise patterns as well. So puppets are such a great way to engage students and elicit responses that you may not get otherwise. I love using them for improvisation activities, for turn taking, for singing and chanting. Puppets are phenomenal, and I cannot recommend them enough. The next prop I'm going to be sharing with you, I call Googly Eyes, and I think that's what you would search if you were looking for these on Amazon or some other site. These are so goofy, and my students absolutely love them. And the lovely thing about Googly Eyes, it's like giving students puppets, but you can give every student a puppet at the same time. So very, very cost effective, easy to give all the students in the class, so everybody gets to try something at the same time. And they just use their hand. You can see what, whoops, there we go. But I just have my hand like this, and my thumb is the mouth, and they just chant back and forth. So I'm going to share a little chant that I love to do with my students with this. This is a chant from Music Play, which is published by GA Publications. It's used with permission, and it's called My Mother. And it goes like this. My mom and your mom live across the way. Every night they have a chat, and this is what they say. They say, ba 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 ba. So our little googly eyes can have conversations with one another. I'm modeling how this would look, but with students, one student would have a little googly eye puppet, the other student would have theirs, and they could practice giving patterns back and forth to one another. So it's a great way to begin turn taking and working on improvisation. They can sing, they can chant, they can move. And my students absolutely love them. You can get these off of Amazon. I'll have a link in the handout where you can find these. I've even found these at the dollar spot at Target, a little bit smaller version, which is lovely for smaller hands, but no matter the size, the students love these, and they're so great to use in instruction. One of my favorite props to use are weighted streamers. This particular streamer comes from Sarah's Silks, which is a store on Amazon. I'm sure they have their own website as well. They have this as a shooting star as well as a meteor. You can also get things like this, these weighted streamers on Discount School Supply, their website as well. The lovely thing about these, besides just being very lightweight and very silky, is that these particular ones have a little, what feels like probably like a little rubber ball in the center. So it just gives it a tiny bit of weight so that you can throw it with some accuracy, but it's not going to hurt anybody when you throw it because there's so much cushion around that little ball. So there's a lot of accuracy when you throw it. And it's great to, again, if you want to respect personal boundaries and give students turns and give them a prop to focus all of their energy on the prop versus someone looking at them, this is a great thing to use. I have a little song called Shooting Star, and it sounds like this. I am a shooting star flying across the sky. I am a shooting star, make a wish as I fly by. And I toss the shooting star to one of my students. They catch it and sing, bum, and then they make a little wish. And they toss it back to me, and I sing the song again. I am a shooting star flying across the sky. I am a shooting star, make a wish as I fly by. Bum. Weighted streamers are great to get kids singing, respect their personal boundaries, and put all of the focus on the prop versus themselves. Our next prop I want to share with you are called Juggling Scarves. And these are hands down my must-have item in my room. The reason I love these scarves in particular, juggling scarves versus any other scarves that you might get on a music website, is that they are, first, very small. These are 12 by 12, and they're hemmed, meaning that they do not rip, tear, shred, as some of my other scarves have done in the past. Oftentimes I get these off of PE catalog websites, and so you get better luck finding them there, and their pricing is much less expensive than if I were to purchase them somewhere else. What can I not do with a scarf? I can do everything. One of my favorite things to do with students is a little song called Little Ghosty. So we take our scarf, we put our hand here, we pull from the center, wrap our head around, and there we have a little head and a little body, and we let our ghost move around and float. Little ghosty, flying so high. Little ghosty, please come say hi. Go away, ghost. And there are just lovely ways to get students moving with flow, and they don't even realize that they're moving through music because all they're focused on is this little scarf or this little ghost moving around. And then we make our ghost disappear at the end by just blowing on it, which brings focus to the breath before we sing, what helps our audiation. The little leaf song we did earlier, you could do that song with scarves. We rake these up as leaves at the end of class. There are so many things you can do with scarves. You can do dance and freeze. You can do songs where you focus on that breath again. Jeremiah, blow the fire, puff, puff, puff. Scarves are versatile. They're easy. They're easy to take home and throw in the washer and bring back to class the next day. I cannot talk enough about how much I love these juggling scarves. The other advantage to the juggling scarves is they only come in these three colors, the yellow, the pink, and the orange that you see on the screen. So it minimizes fights over who gets which color. I always hold out two. My students pick one of the two that they want, so they get a choice in the color that they use. But juggling scarves are a must-have in the music room. The next prop I'm going to be sharing with you today are rainbow streamers. And one of the reasons I love these particular rainbow streamers is because they come with a cloth handle. I've seen wonderful streamers that come with sort of that long plastic or wooden handle, and I always have concerns about a child getting hurt with that. They are not going to get hurt with this little cloth handle. They easily go around the hand or can just be held like this. And they are such a fun way to get your students singing and moving and chanting. One of my favorite things to do with kiddos is a little chant called Stretch and Bounce. Again, this can be found in the music play curriculum published by GAA Publications. This is used with permission. And this chant is a chant by Edwin Gordon. It sounds like this. Ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba, big circles, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba, woo! And we toss the little streamer at the end. One of the reasons I love using the streamer with this chant is it shows you get to hear elongations with that long ba-ba, but not only do you get to hear it, you get to see it. We do it as a little magic trick. So I have my hand direct around here and I'm pulling, so they get to feel that pull of the elongation as well. And then we toss it at the end for a little vocal exploration, getting that siren voice up high. At the end, we hold our streamers like this. My kids always think they're rock and roll stars. They hold their streamer, and this becomes their microphone. Be my echo, please. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. So my students love using the streamers in class. We use these for dance and freeze activities as well, but my rules around using streamers in dance and freeze is that the streamers may not go around their neck, they cannot go around their body, and they may not go in their clothes, because if you've worked with enough children over time, somebody is bound to use this as a tail, and you can only imagine where this part of the handle goes. So it cannot go in clothes, it cannot go around the body. Oh, and it cannot go around someone else's body, because if you're not the horse, then perhaps you're the person controlling the horse. Again, I've just worked with kids long enough to know we have to have some rules around the streamers. These can be purchased at Discount School Supply. You can get them on Amazon. I'm sure I have a link in the handout for you as well. They are lovely, lovely to use. I've had this set in my classroom for 20 plus years. And again, they stay in great condition. Every once in a while, you get some that have a little fraying at the end, and that's okay. I just toss those when they've had enough. But they are so much fun to use in the classroom, and my students absolutely eat them up. All right, our next prop is the squishy ball. I love using the squishy ball for turn taking and tonal and rhythm responses. They're great for little ones because most little ones are learning how to catch a ball. And when they have this big squishy ball, no matter how it comes at them, they can grab some part of it and kind of keep control over the ball. They love to squeeze it and make silly shapes with it as well. I should have put this as a pro tip, but I mean this with all honesty. I used my squishy ball in the fall. I use my squishy ball in the spring. I do not use it in the winter months when illness is a little bit more abundant in my classroom because little germy hands sometimes will spread germs through the squishy ball. Yes, you can wash them. It just takes a little while for it to dry, and sometimes it comes out feeling a little tacky, but that's okay. I've washed this one many a time, and I still use it in my classroom. You make sure you wash your hands after you've used it in your classroom as well to kind of cut down on your own exposure to germs. But I love to use the song or like a hello song with my students with this, and all I do is sing. Hello, everybody. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's make music. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, my friends. If my ball goes up in the air, you're going to sing do, do. So I'll sing the hello song and I sing the or throw the ball up. The students sing the resting tone do, and then I can go and throw the ball to students. Everybody stands with their hands out ready to go to catch the ball. If the ball comes to them, they hold it, sing do, they throw it back to me, and then they have a seat, so I know that they've had a turn. You can use this with lots of different songs. You can have them sing patterns instead of just the resting tone, but the squishy ball is a great prop to get, again, take the focus off of the child, put it on the squishy ball. I get about 100% responses with my students when we play with this little ball in music class. They're very inexpensive. You can get them at Target, the Dollar Tree, Amazon, and again, I've had this one for 20 plus years in my room, and it's still going strong. The last prop I'm going to share with you today, again, just being budget friendly and budget conscious, that maybe purchasing a lot of props for your room may not be possible at this time. It's just using laminated cards in your classroom. They don't have to be expensive. You can simply put a couple images on a piece of paper, print it and laminate it. And I love to use those cards for a little game called Who Has? Who has the apple? Who has the ghost? Who has the candy corn? Hide them, please. So you have your little laminated cards. You choose one child to sit in the middle of the circle. They hide their eyes from everyone else in the class. Then you hand out your 3 cards to 3 different students, and you sing your song. Who has the apple? And the student who has the apple card sings, I have the apple. And then you sing, who has the ghost? And the student who has the ghost sings, I have the ghost. And then lastly, who has the candy corn? And the student who has that card sings, I have the candy corn. And then you say, hide them, please. They put the card behind their back or underneath their legs. And then the student who's been hiding their eyes this whole time has to guess who sang each part of the song. So it's a great way to get, first of all, students listening to each other and their voices. But secondly, it's a wonderful way to differentiate some pattern instruction with your students. That first pattern, who has the apple, lower register, diatonic in nature. And so you can give that as an easy pattern to a student. That middle pattern is a little bit more difficult. And then students who are working to sing in their head voice and kind of sing over that vocal break, get that third pattern. So it's a great way to hear students singing, as well as get students focused on listening and audiating in your classroom. And again, it just took printing out a little page with some pictures on it. If you don't want to have to go searching for pictures and things like that, I've even found these in craft stores. They're literally little wood ornaments. We've used those before for the I Have Who Has. Another idea, this was something we found in the dollar spot at Target. There's these there were little keychains, but they're like little stuffed animals, and my students love that. So there are lots of different ways you can do this, but again, it doesn't have to be very expensive. Finding, little $1 items in the dollar spot or just printing off and laminating cards is a great way to use a simple prop and get your kids singing in music class. So, like I said, this was not meant to be a comprehensive list of props to use in the music room. There are so many ways you can use so many things in your classroom. I love using paper plates, small little paper plates for ice skating or movement activities. Tracy King, the bulletin board lady, I've seen her use the pool noodles and cut them in half and use them as lightsabers for beat work in her classroom. Plastic cups for the cup song and doing rhythm work. Beanie Babies, I get those on my Buy Nothing sites and Facebook, and we use those to sing lullabies to our little Beanie Babies. Everybody gets one in the classroom, and we use it to sing and move with our Beanie Babies in class. Echo microphones for turn taking. Using bean bags. You can use bean bags for just about everything. If you didn't want to have to do die cut shapes, you could use bean bags instead. If you didn't want to use Beanie Babies, again, bean bags work wonderful. Hoberman spheres, those balls that open up into those big geometric shapes. Stretchy bands, bubbles. Here I have pictured that I love to buy these little fruit baskets at IKEA, or they're like little felt food baskets that you can get. Everybody in the classroom gets a piece of fruit or a vegetable, and we go on a picnic, or we make a soup, or we make cookies, and the students have to sing the ingredient they're going to put into the song that we're singing. So it's a great way. Again, they get their fruit, they're holding on to it, but they have something to hold on tactily and take all of the focus off of them as they sing. Discount school supply and Oriental Trading are other places I love to find props. These little monster googly eye things are dry erasers, but again, I use them as little resting tone balls, little resting tone monsters that sing in the classroom. Your limit to props is only your limit on your imagination. There are so many ways you can use things in your music room to get students singing, chanting, and moving, and actively making music in the classroom. So, where can you find props? One of my favorite places to shop for puppets is West Music. There are tons of props that you can order through them. Amazon is another great place to find those puppets and some of the props that I've used today. The Target Dollar Spot, IKEA, Dollar Tree, and Five Below. During the pandemic, I really wanted my students to have some of these things in their home because we did a lot of remote instruction. And I couldn't give every student a streamer, but I could buy at the Dollar Tree the little plastic hooks that you use for your shower curtains. And I put a ribbon on there, and all of my students got streamers to use at home. So there are lots of ways that you can even repurpose the idea of a streamer and do it very economically. Five Below is great. I just bought like 20 plus little hula hoops for dancing. They are Oriental Trading again. These little googly-eyed monsters is where I got those from. Michael's or Joann's, if you're making your own scarves or looking for other things, oftentimes have teacher discounts or coupons that you can use. And then lastly, music teacher buy and sell sites on Facebook. You will oftentimes find retired teachers who are wanting to downsize everything before they retire and will sell their props at a discounted rate as well. So it's a wonderful place to find. Garage sales, Goodwill. There are so many different places you can find teaching materials and puppets and props like this. So just be creative, be patient in your search for certain things. And if you're trying to minimize your own personal spending, I really encourage you to put together an Amazon wish list. Especially in the summer, those are oftentimes things that are searched on, whether you're on a social media site, and people will purchase or fulfill something on the list. You can consider Donors Choose if your school allows you to post projects. I've had many items purchased through Donors Choose projects, and there are key times each year that you want to put projects online where you can get double funding. So if somebody donates something, then if they donate $10, then a corporation might match that donation. And then I would encourage you also to reach out to your PTA and let them know that you're wanting to add some things to your music room, and give them a small list. Oftentimes, if the PTA isn't able to purchase something for you, I've had parents that once the request has been announced to the PTA, I have parents that will purchase things for the music room as well. And I would much rather receive a gift that can be used for instruction than one more coffee mug or one more candle for a teacher appreciation gift. So just sharing the things that you need or want for your music room is a wonderful way to have people gift you things for those as well. This concludes my session. Thank you so much for spending time with me this afternoon. Again, my name is Jennifer Bailey, and I am Sing to Kids across all social media platforms. I do have a website, www.singtokids.com, where I host my blog, and there you can find just about any topic related to elementary music instruction. There, I hope you'll go visit that site. I have posts about funding for your classroom, to working with little ones, to music learning theory, to getting your administrators on board with music observations in a music-friendly way. I sell in TPT. Again, my name is Sing to Kids on all sites. And thank you so much for coming to my session today.